The People's Committee of Ha Giang Province, United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and the Women's Union of Ha Giang Province, the People's Committee of Yên Minh District, just held a handover ceremony for a total of 26.5 kilometers of new rural roads connecting 17 villages of Na Khe, La Va Chai, Đông Minh, Hữu Vinh, Ngam La, and Suza communes with Yên Minh District, Lũng Táo, and Xính Lùng communes with Đồng Văn District. With funding and cooperation from the government of Japan, UNDP has supported more than 1,200 poor ethnic minorities whose livelihoods have been severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Through this support, the ethnic minorities not only have more money to cover their daily life, but also this project contributes to the construction of roads between difficult areas in the region, increasing connectivity between regions.
Xin chào and welcome to Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 Net Việt. Currently, UNDP has cooperated with the local authorities in Ha Giang province to support the poor ethnic minorities, especially women here, to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic. And how has it worked? In our today's program, we have invited Ms. Caitlin Wilson, UNDP resident representative in Vietnam. Thank you so much for joining our program today.
Thank you, Zhang, and I'm delighted to be here.
First question, I would like to ask you, why did you decide to support the poor ethnic minorities and especially women in Ha Giang province with your recent transportation project?
Thank you so much for the question. And as we know, here in Vietnam, the government has done an extraordinary job in terms of containing the COVID pandemic. Nonetheless, the impacts of COVID, the social and economic impacts continue to be very severely felt by a number of communities. Here in Ha Giang, and here we are on the border, people were used to going across for work, for migrating for work, and that was no longer possible in the context of COVID. The other thing is tourism. This is also a province that is heavily dependent on tourism, and that also has been impacted. So we found that the communities here really were having a very strong impact, and we wanted to support them. So we looked at what would make the best sense and how best to support them, and we came up with two ways, basically on the feedback that was given to us by the local communities themselves. So the first one was looking at roads, and here it's a cash for work, and looking at work that would actually build infrastructure that would help the communities. In this case, the communities decided on roads, and so far we've looked at building 27 kilometers of roads. And the idea is that we're connecting 19 hamlets with almost actually 21 hamlets with 9 communes. And this really provides access to these hamlets, to communes and the people within them. 1,200 persons have benefited from the program, and that's directly in terms of income. And then overall, 10,000 members of the communes have benefited indirectly as well. So the roads now connect with markets, they also connect with schools, they also connect with health centers.
So the project has helped Ha Giang women to not only to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic, but also to reduce the inequality as well as to be resilient to the crisis. I would like to ask you, how has the project received the support from not only the Vietnamese governments, but also from the local authorities in Ha Giang province?
Well, we worked through the local PPC, and they in turn reached out to the communes, and I reached out to the hamlets, and it was really local mobilization. So really it was the people who decided what they needed most for their community, and the response was actually a very rapid response. So we were delighted with that and delighted to work with them to support. And the community spirit is very, very strong here, and they really want to see their communities built, they wanted to see their hamlets connected, and they wanted to be benefiting. So we've been very impressed with the enthusiasm with which the communities have embraced the work, and the way in which they're now benefiting. They're particularly happy that before Tet they can connect with families, with school, with markets, and that they've also learned new skills in the way in terms of preparing them for the new digital age. undertook a PAPI survey recently. It just came out in the last weeks. They found that the people who received the program were very happy with the vast majority were quite happy with the receipts from government. The challenge was the persons who became newly poor because of COVID or over the course of the year, and they were missed out from the social assistance and social protection program. So this is the group that we have really zoomed in on to really focus on and provide support. Here we found in Ha Giang, the government was really receptive to the idea of providing support and actually provided quite a bit of material. So actually it was a co-funding of the 27 kilometers of roads. So if we look at it, the government was providing a lot of the hardware elements of the roads, and we were providing the employment elements. So we were providing the support to people to provide them with incomes and cash at a time they needed it, to help produce infrastructure that would help them and their communities connect. And at the same time, we found that many of them also used the income to buy chickens and to buy pigs and to undertake animal husbandry for further livelihood support. So they really made very good use of the resources. And it was very heartwarming today to be with them as they opened up the roads and connecting for the first time with cemented roads. It's not that the roads haven't been there before. And this will enable them to be able to reach schools, clinics, to take care of their health needs, their marketing needs in all seasons, whether it's sunny, like today was sunny, or whether it's rainy.
So during the implementation, what kind of difficulties and challenges that you have to encounter?
I'm not sure if we had difficulties, but there were some challenges in terms of being able to identify the exact community that was in greatest need. But then I think once that was identified, then it moved very quickly and very swiftly.
The spacious concrete in the village and in the commune roads have brought joy to the people here when own distances get closer.
Từ xã vào thôn chúng tôi thì là đường đất, trời mưa xuống thì rất là lầy, bẩn, không đi được, nhiều lúc còn phải đẩy xe. Thì hiện nay đã có một con đường đi thì rất là bền mà rất là đẹp. Mà cũng tôi thì thay mặt cho xóm cảm ơn các chương trình quốc gia đã giúp xóm chúng tôi được một con đường đi.
In addition to the Japanese support, UNDP also mobilized the support from the Multi-Partner Trust Fund (MPTF) to provide emergency assistance to the 600 members of the Land Cooperative in Ha Giang, as the cooperative was closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, in which each person received 2.3 million VND and personal protective equipment for epidemic prevention. At the same time, UNDP also organizes instructions for women in the area to use a new digital platform through VN Post at the local post office, allowing them to receive money transparently, quickly, and then they can receive money from future digitized social protection program.
Một người được 2,3 triệu, đấy là tiền hỗ trợ cho một người cũng làm những người mà hộ nghèo ấy. Xong được tiền đấy là mình mua con lợn về nuôi. Vâng. Bây giờ thì có công việc làm rồi thì kiểu như là có khách hàng đặt hàng rồi thì họ mua hàng rồi thì mình quay lại về hợp tác xã để may hàng cho khách.
Cái điều này thì nó rất tốt trong cái thời Covid mà chúng ta cần phải giãn cách xã hội. Và một cái điểm nữa là nó nâng cao được cái tính minh bạch, chính xác trong cái khi mà đối tượng nhận hưởng lợi. Và với cái hệ thống này thì các cơ quan quản lý cũng có được cái hệ thống cơ sở dữ liệu để chúng ta có thể quản lý được đối tượng cũng như là quản lý được cái việc mà chúng ta hỗ trợ được tốt hơn.
So in order to get the best result, will UNDP have to, to organize training courses for people to participate in this project?
So there were many training courses that were provided, and particularly we wanted this to be not just a one-time handout, but also a learning opportunity for those who participated. And the learning opportunity was how to engage with new digital platforms to enable them to be able to participate in the digital economy. And that's a way of receiving e-payments, to receiving mobile payments. So this was accompanied by quite a bit of training that went on as well. And the idea is that, yes, it's important in the context of COVID, but in the context of the recovery and preparing for a digital age and preparing for a time when benefits such as social protection and assistance will be provided digitally, very important to hone these skills. And we found that there was quite an appetite for the skills, and people, it took some time initially, but they've caught on, and we're quite confident that in the next phase, which we're hoping to look for when we will pilot test some of the social protection programs and e-payment systems, that this learning will be brought to bear in that context as well.
Until now, the project has nearly been finished, right? So, for you, has it accomplished all the goals that has been set out?
Well, I think we've tried to make a difference and support people at a difficult time who are not being supported. And from the feedback that we've gotten, it's been quite positive. But of course, this is the beginning. It's certainly not the end. And we hope that also together with the newly approved ethnic minority program, the national targeted program from government, that there will be additional support provided to mountainous areas such as this in Ha Giang with the women-headed businesses and communities, and that there will be further support provided and further innovation. So we're working very closely with the government and with the ministry, with Sema, the minister, and looking at how innovations in women's business through a wraparound e-service context, that is, digital platform, e-payment, e-commerce systems, can help further develop their businesses and expand their markets in a digital way so that they can sell the products that they have at a quality and to a broader market. And that will enable them to function not only in the context of COVID, should we have a context or an epidemic occur in the future, but also in the new digital age as well. So we're looking forward to continuing to engage with Ha Giang, and in the context of the ethnic minority program, the nationally targeted program.
So in the coming time, will UNDP continue to support the women not only in Ha Giang province, but also in Vietnam in general?
We are deeply committed to engaging with women and looking at women's empowerment. And for women's economic empowerment, we will continue to prioritize ethnic minorities and women-headed households and those who have been left behind. Together, we will be working very closely with the government, and this is on the National Targeted Program and the National Target Program for Ethnic Minorities. And with support from the Australian government, we are prioritizing women ethnic minority businesses and enabling them to come up with innovative solutions and expand their market reach. So I think that's one way in which we will continue to work with women and their empowerment. There's also social impact business, and together with the Government of Canada, we'll be supporting women to look at what we call the triple bottom line: a profit, a contribution to society, and a contribution to the environment. And so with that triple bottom line, we certainly will make an incredible difference so that women will not only be prioritized, but become the driving force in terms of the recovery, a recovery that's diversified, a recovery that is green, and a recovery that is sustainable and that leaves no one behind.
Once again, thank you so much for your meaningful shares today, and we'll look forward to further events to be organized by UNDP. That's the end of Sharing Vietnam. If you have any questions or recommendations, please send us to sharingvietnam@nfftv.net. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you next time. Goodbye.